Hey, 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 people. What's going on? What's up? We are here. Took us a minute to get here, but we are here. Hey, so welcome to the Tisa Batey Show here live on djgradybaby.com. Welcome. You guys are going to be, you are really, turn your volume down for me. You guys, this is going to be a power-packed podcast today. So if you have people that you want to share this with, please go ahead and share. As a matter of fact, share it with everybody you know. We're here live talking about the roles in a relationship. Is it possible, DJ Grady Baby, I'm going to need you to come on and get in the camera with us, darling.
Oh, I thought I was in.
Is it possible for two headstrong people to be in a successful relationship, or does it actually equal one big headache? That's what we're talking. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's one big headache.
That's what we're talking about today on the Tisa Batey Show.
I can't wait.
I want you guys to share this with everybody you know. You're going to hear some stuff on here that you like. You're going to hear a lot of stuff that you might not like. But we're just going in. We're not, we're not holding back. So please don't be offended by anything that you might hear. That's a disclaimer. That's my only disclaimer that I will give. And we're just going to dive in and we're just going to have real talk. I am super, super, super excited about our guest today. Of course, you got me, yours truly, Tisa Batey, published author. This is How Safe People Sin. Plug. If you don't have the book, get the book.
Yes.
It will bless your souls and bless your socks off. But we also have, and you know, of course, the infamous sidekick, DJ Grady Baby. Come on, somebody.
Yes.
He's got that magic. Yeah, he's got it. That's DJ. Who that is? That's just that Grady Baby. Hey, that's just that Grady Baby. That's just that Grady Baby. That's just that Grady Baby.
Yes.
Okay, so Tisa Batey, the Tisa Batey Show. Let's just talk about it. No pressure, just dialogue. But we're super, super, super excited about our other two guests today.
Yes.
We've got here my soror, my line sister, my Sans, the one and only Miss Tammy Smith.
Yes.
You better recognize. She has been married for what, 26 years.
Yes.
So she is going to, 26 years.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's going to be able to offer us some, she's really going to be able to offer us some really constructive feedback on, the woman's side and what a woman's role is in a relationship. I will give you mine. I'm divorced. So mine didn't go quite as well. Yeah. So I'll give you my perspective. And then we've also got
the man.
The crazy man. That so many have inboxed me about regarding former podcasts. The one who has made really some quite outlandish and very real and organic comments.
Yes.
And that's Mr. Gerald Forte. And Gerald is, he comes to us. He's the man you want to know when it comes to all things or anything media in Atlanta. From photography to, videos to business development to, oh my gosh, advertising, just about anything. I mean, this guy right here is really, really talented. And not only is he talented, he is really, really raw. Happy New Year to you too, Shannon Pugh. Happy New Year. I want to say, and the wonderful thing today is, hey Bruce, they're going to help me read some of these comments. I want to get to each and every one of you if I can. I forgot to introduce the very most important the very most important guest in the studio today. And you all may be able to see her down here. My grandbaby, the one and only, the celebrity of the moment. Come on now, Miss Riley Mack.
Yeah.
She is with us today, so and she loves to chime in from time to time, so she will be heard.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna go ahead and dive in. Hey, Kamara, Kathy, hey, Matt, Fred Brooks, Valerie Jackson, Kim Thomas, Allison Pearson. You guys don't want to miss this today because this is really getting ready to be good. Zarette Brady. Hey, this is my cousin, Bronson. Hey, Bronson McCurdy. Hey, Tisa. I want to come on the show just as an observer. You guys are having fun. Cheers to you. No, if you're going to be here on the show with me, Bronson, you are going to be talking. You're not camera shy, so I would love to have you here with me from Detroit. Come on and represent from the Motor City. And my aunt, Teresa Brown, is on. Hey, everybody. Yeah. Go ahead, like I said, and share this with everybody. We want as much feedback as we can get. This is going to be a very, very controversial topic and conversation today, but one, nevertheless, that needs to be had. I feel like I've always said that I feel like the best way to start the healing process is to have dialogue, is to engage in intellectual dialogue. And that's what we're going to do today here on the Tisa Batey Show. So welcome. Again, the topic is, can two headstrong people really make for a successful relationship?
And my answer is no.
You already say no?
I'm saying no.
You don't even give it a chance? No. The answer is already no?
I already know. I've been there.
Okay, you've been there?
Yeah, I've been there. I kind of be like I said, I've been married twice, so you tally my time up. I'm 27. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. He's an expert.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gerald, how long have you been married?
Yeah, I've never been married. I just practice sometimes.
Yeah.
You just practice.
Practice is better.
Sometimes. But when you say headstrong, I mean there's parameters within headstrong. But generally, I agree with him. No, you don't take two hard surfaces and meld them together and expect something to come out soft. It doesn't work like that. Human beings alike. So that's my quick answer. But give me some intricate details and maybe I can, see something different.
So what do you think, Tammy? And you guys talk up for the guys who are listening on Facebook. You guys, now let me just say this. If you missed the podcast, you will be able to see it on djgradybaby.com, and the volume will be wonderful because we have microphones. But if you guys can't hear us, if we need to speak up, then by all means let us know that, because we definitely want you to be able to engage, and we want to have very good exchange on this topic. So what are your thoughts on that, Tammy?
Okay, actually, like I mentioned earlier, I've been married for 26 years, and to me, I think you have to have a balance. It shouldn't be leaning towards one side heavy, and because it's definitely not going to work unless you have a weak-minded person on one end who is just used to being in a dictatorship relationship, always sitting back waiting for someone to make the move for them instead of making the move together.
That's good. Mm-hmm. So so now it's my turn.
Okay.
I have mixed feelings about this, and I think I'm in the middle of the road. I do think that it's possible to make a relationship work with two headstrong people,
Okay.
but you have to know your role or your specific roles in the relationship.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's okay to have two headstrong people if you say, okay, as the wife, I am going to handle the finances.
Okay.
As the husband, I might handle all, the planning, the intricate planning or the intricate details. And when it comes to making a final decision, I would ask that you give me, leeway to make that final decision and to lead our family, but your input is important.
Okay.
I think you can, if it's two headstrong people, I think that it can be successful that way.
Okay.
But when you don't know your boundaries, or when you don't know what your roles are and they have not been clearly defined, I think that's when you get into, all the confusion.
Right. But since you put it that way, I think it could work. But who makes the final decision?
Right.
That's the thing is.
I mean, because
so-
what you said, now what you mentioned is this person responsible for this and this person responsible for that, which is defining their roles. But there's still a balance. Like I said, you have to have a balance in it.
Right.
Because although, like you said, the balances are being, the relationships are being, are being defined in their role, but it's not one side leaning over this way and it's not one side over there. But we as women do feel, in my point of view, you do want a man that's going to be able to have your back.
Sometimes.
Yes.
What do you mean? I want a man to have my back all the time.
Well, I'm saying, you'll feel
Yes, I do.
more
It's a
secure.
double-edged sword.
And you got that person's back too. So that's why I'm saying it has to be a
And
balance.
I understand what Gerald going to say. Go ahead.
No, I want to know what he's
I already know what you're
I don't
gonna
want a
say. Go ahead.
man, me personally, I don't want a man who has my back sometimes.
No,
I want a man who has my back all the time.
Right.
So I want to know what he has to say.
Okay.
So ideally, when women say, I want this, I want that, and they get it, and we give it to them, because most of the time we give it to them to keep you guys happy. Are you happy 100% of the time when your man gives you have you gotten what you wanted exactly from your man or your man?
Not all
Not all the
the time.
time.
Okay, so have you ever gotten what you wanted from your man?
Sometimes,
Okay,
yeah.
so you were 100% content. You didn't need nothing else when you were content at those sometimes.
And he got what he wanted too.
No. It's not
No,
about
it's
him.
not
It's
about
about
you.
you.
It's about you.
Don't balance it.
My God, brother, miss.
If you are 100% content, I'm saying this wrong, so I'm saying it different. Have you ever been 100% content with the man that you're with? Okay, so
Yeah.
here's a question.
Okay.
When did it stop, and why are you not with him now?
I think it stopped when we stopped focusing on making each other happy.
Okay, so what was the disconnect from the happy? Because you said you were content, happy, content, the same thing,
Yeah.
right? So when did the disconnect happen?
Just speaking for me, I can't speak for everybody, but the disconnect for me, and it hasn't happened for her because she's still happily married.
Oh,
But the
congratulations.
disconnect for me happened when I felt that I was continuously disrespected.
Okay.
Each time I felt like I was disrespected by him allowing another woman to have any type of influence, whether it was the actual act of, sexual violation or not, whether it was actually, penetration or anytime you allow another woman to impede upon my family time, and anytime you allow another woman to think that she is important enough to contact you or to, to reach out to you, especially during those hours that you're at home with the family time.
Right.
Whenever you give another woman that much power, not only is that humiliating for a wife to, take, but each time that happens, even though I felt like I forgave, it made my heart just a little bit harder. So I don't know that I truly forgave, but it made my heart a little bit harder each time. That's a really big pill for any woman to swallow. So eventually I just disconnect.
Right. You disconnected before you disconnected, though, from what you just said.
No, I didn't disconnect before I disconnected. It was very intentional. My disconnection was very intentional and very deliberate.
But I think what now I'm gonna try to add a little twist on it. All right, with women making the decision making between the couples, and I look at how women shop. Women go and buy stuff, make a decision to buy something, get home, and decide they don't want it anymore. So they're going back and taking the receipt to exchange. So that's what I mean by we have your back sometimes. So sometimes y'all make decisions on stuff that you're not really sure that you really want it. You want it just to have it, but then you take it back to exchange.
What does that have to do with
Right, I don't
anything?
even
What does
think
that have
that's
to do with
a
the
good
price of
example
tea
for
and
you
shine?
to say because we all have those type of decisions. We have stuff that we buy and we take back. So maybe you need to use another example.
No, what I'm saying, but it's the decision. What I'm saying, it's a decision that you made to purchase it.
Well,
but
I
you
mean,
decide to take it back.
Let's be perfectly clear. We all make decisions in the relationship independent of the other. But I would like to think when it comes to a major purchase, you know, like when you're talking about cars, homes, you know, thousands of dollars out of the account, then of course you always want to have the buy-in from your significant other.
Right.
But just because I'm married or in a relationship does not mean I'm dumb or ignorant or too stupid to operate outside of that role.
No, we're not saying
You know what I'm saying? I mean, okay, but I'm capable of making decisions that are independent of him if it's not going to be something that impacts the household. That's all I'm saying.
Details to this conversation.
We just saying we should be a team and just, you know, before you make that final decision.
Okay, so if I'm going to
hey,
buy a
what
pack
you
of
think?
bologna, do I have to call my husband to say,
No.
honey, I want to buy a pack of bologna? Do I have your buy-in?
Garlic
Or do you think that I'm trustworthy enough to make that decision
Do you
on
know-
my own?
Do you know if he
Talk.
likes bologna or not?
Okay, talk up because they can't hear you over there.
Do you know if he likes bologna or not, or do you care?
If I like bologna and I want to buy it, I should be able to buy bologna.
Oh no,
That's not a major
I'm
purchase.
talking about something that could affect the family.
Okay, if it's something that
That's
could,
what
And that's what I was
saying.
telling you. Don't use. I'm gonna take this back because I went shopping because to me that's not. Use something like of a major value.
Okay.
Maybe the example that you gave.
Like a
you
car.
had
Let's say
given
like
was
you wanted to get a sports car or something, like, you know, not a sports car, but a family car. But the man, you know, the husband wanted to get a pickup truck. He had to make a decision. But you go out, for example, like my wife.
okay, yeah, that's your
I'm
wife.
gonna
That's
say now.
specific to you.
Now, this
You married right now?
Huh? I'm married
Oh,
to her right now.
Okay, so she's listening.
She's listening right now. I hope you're
Hey.
listening.
Hey, how you doing? This is Jerry.
Jolene Taylor.
I feel so
I
sorry
hope
for
you're
you, Miss
listening.
Taylor, but
I'd be so glad that in a couple of months this car will be paid off. We decided a couple years ago we wanted to get a new vehicle for retirement from the military. Okay, this is gonna be our treat.
Okay.
So she took it upon herself to order the car without telling me. She said we're gonna go look for the car. When we get to the dealership, the car was already there.
It was ready.
It was
so
there.
she just did the legwork. But she didn't
Yeah,
sign on the dotted line
but
and
we
she
agreed
was there
that we
with
was
her.
gonna get a truck.
Where was the money coming from?
Huh?
together with that
It's coming out
individual
of joint
joint.
account.
Joint account.
Yeah.
That's where she messed up.
Right.
To me.
Yeah.
Okay, why did she mess up? Because she didn't sign on. She did some legwork for what she wanted, but she didn't sign on the dotted line.
But it's not what we
there with
agreed
her,
upon.
right?
We agreed upon the truck.
Okay,
So,
I'm
because
saying maybe
I
she was
DJ, I
wrong
carry a
with
lot of
that.
equipment and stuff. Because we already had one Blazer,
Right.
so she got one Blazer. We had one Blazer, and she got another Blazer. I said, let's get a truck because I have all these heavy,
Right.
equipment and stuff,
Right.
and I get tired of renting vehicles to go do gigs and stuff.
Okay, so
So-
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Did you train her to be that way?
No, my mother-in-law trained her to be that way. Okay.
So you haven't given her way throughout the entire relationship.
Well, I kind of, we kind of,
Does she owe you one?
I try, because she's
Gerald said,
she's
does she owe
military
you
now.
one?
Did she owe you one?
Does she owe you one,
Like,
Gerald?
Oh, she owed me a truck.
No.
It
Did
sounds
she
like
owe
she's
you?
strong
Did she
minded.
owe you one of those type of situations where you did something like that to her in the past, and she felt like she could do this to you?
No,
Like,
wait,
like,
happened?
so-
Tip for tat.
Right.
Oh, what happened?
It might be a tip for tat, but
Okay,
it's still
yeah.
relevant
It
in marriage.
is, right.
In relationships.
And-
But
in
tit
that
for tat does
instance-
not work.
Oh, hell no.
But I feel like in that instance
Uh-huh.
that she was wrong because if you all had agreed on let's get the truck and she stepped outside and went and did something outside of what you all discussed,
Yeah.
then that wasn't right.
I don't feel that it was necessarily right either. But I think you teach people how to treat you. I really do.
But
I don't think she would have done that if she didn't think she could have gotten away
but
with it.
it's a part of her upbringing because we had that discussion and she said that her mother she was raised up like that with her mother because when her stepdad told her mother not to get a washing machine,
Jesus Christ.
her mother wouldn't have got it anyway.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
So you didn't marry her mother, though.
No, I didn't.
Exactly.
But my wife is trying to be like her mother.
Okay,
no,
so
no,
what did
no,
you do
that's-
when you guys
that's-
got to the dealership
Uh-huh.
and you discovered that she had chosen a car that was
Yeah.
different? What did you do? Did you agree
You
to?
know what? I looked at her and
What
like,
did you drive off in?
she drove off in a new car and I drove off in an old car. I just looked at her and said,
So not
you
the
owe me
You're
truck.
not
one.
alpha in your
Not the
relationship.
truck.
Huh?
You're not alpha in the relationship.
Oh, I am an alpha, but
You know,
I just tried to
just
just
in
peace
some-
because I don't want to embarrass her, But
Oh,
when we got
okay.
home, there was a whole different discussion.
So that's love.
But you owe me one.
Okay, so
So,
Okay, go ahead, Gerald.
We're gonna go back into the.
Right.
This whole conversation started off. This show was about strong and strong.
Yeah,
So that strong and strong and strong and strong.
right. But somebody
she
had to
was
get a
strong
piece. Mhm.
until you both were strong until you got to the car dealership.
Yeah.
And somebody was still strong and somebody wasn't as strong. Now, I'm not naming which one was.
The one who was
Who
the
gave
strongest
it?
drove away
Well,
in
it's
the
not-
vehicle that she wanted.
And that's what I meant to you when I said to you when I came and you said two strong people in a relationship. You got to give the intricate details of where the strength is, because sometimes somebody's stronger than other times.
Exactly.
So
It's not about being strong, it's about compromising.
no,
I
in the
kinda-
end, yeah. I'm talking about at the moment. If you guys were two strong-headed people, that car would have stayed and y'all both would have left.
Yeah.
Two people would have been mad.
Right.
Or two people would have been happy and left with the car.
Right.
But you were driving one a little bit disappointed, and she was driving in the same car happy. So again, strong and strong wasn't matched.
Yeah.
Now I do have to agree with that.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
But that's not making you less of a man. That just makes you just lost that one.
I think that in that situation, it wasn't so important for you to have the final say as it was for you to keep the peace in your home.
Right, because you still got a car.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
We had 3 cars at the time, so baller. So
Okay, so Keisha Boyd Love says, my husband and I make it work, and we both are very headstrong, and I can attest to the fact that that is accurate.
you said Keisha?
Yes, this is
Okay.
Keisha Boyd Love.
Okay.
We share responsibilities, but it took a minute.
Okay.
So what she means is, this is a couple who has been together from way back in the day. They basically grew up together. They matured together. They evolved together. So that happened as not individually, but as a couple. So what she's saying is, you know, now, and I don't know how long you guys have been married, Keisha, maybe you can chime in, but what she's saying is it was a process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a process. But again, I'll go back to this. Hey Marlon, hey Latika, hey Cynthia Wright, hey Uncle Donnie, hey my girl CM is on, Fred White, Christopher, I'm glad you're here, Diane. She said, I'm here, T-Bone. Kevin Johnson. Here's my thing. It goes back to my initial statement. Okay. And I just believe that if you have two headstrong people in a relationship, and I am somewhat headstrong sometimes, but what I have learned is the importance of compromise. You know, it's not always about being right. It's about keeping the peace in your household. And it's taken me 40 some odd years to get that. It's not about being right. Even I've gotten to the point where even if I know that I know that I know that I know that you're dead wrong, it's okay that I just know that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's all going to come out in the wash.
Right.
It's more important for me now to keep the peace in my home than it is for me to convince you that I'm right.
Yeah, STFU sometimes.
What does STFU mean?
Fuck up sometimes.
Shut the F up. Okay, STFU.
So
that's the real one on me.
I am
It's
just
just to
learning.
keep the peace temporarily, because at the end of the day, is it something that is a make it or break it for the entire relationship? So sometimes men gotta do it, sometimes women gotta do it, but STFU, depending on the scenario. Not all the time.
Okay, but who has the final say?
The person that is usually the bigger person.
Who is the bigger
It
person?
depends on what we're talking about, though. I mean, we talking about the car situation?
I'm talking about in a structured relationship, whether it's a dating relationship that's serious or whether it's a marriage.
Moving balances.
Who is supposed to have the
There you
final
go.
say?
It's a moving balance.
Somebody
I
should have
say-
somebody
okay,
should have
So he
something.
says,
It should be a
so Gerald
joint,
says,
right?
so Gerald says it's a moving balance. So I want you to elaborate on that.
It means that depending on the situation, okay, so if you have one, male or female, doesn't matter, because you know there are some women that are outspoken, and some I grew up in a household where my mother spoke and spoke and spoke. She spoke when nobody was in the house. She yelled at the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? And was cursing out my father and so on and so forth when he'd mess up or what have you. And my father said nothing. But in that same situation, my mother was the weaker one, because when he came home, church mouse. You see what I'm saying? So she got bold when he wasn't there.
Okay, so you say your father never said much?
I remember my
strong,
father.
silent type?
Yes, he was silent, and he let his movements talk for him.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? So when he got mad or it was too much, he would just leave. And then when he left, that's when my mother would get in the kitchen and start clanging and clanging with pots and pans and yelling at the ceiling like he's dead. And I'd come downstairs like, Mom.
Well, who was she angry at?
Him. And then I look like him, so I get slapped. So get out of my face. But anyway.
So is that why you're so angry today?
I'm angry? No.
We want to get to the personal things.
First of all,
because some of his comments, y'all, I'm just going to say it.
The comments.
Some of his comments come across as being, you got a lot of pent-up frustration.
Listen, I'm 6'4". I'm 200.
And he's fine, y'all. I'm just going to tell you. He is.
I'm not scared.
And he's fine. He's fine.
I'm not scared of nothing. Thank you. But what I will say is this. When I've been in relationships where I'm me, myself. Okay, moving balances. Let me use me. And it's kind of, it's strange because in the beginning of a relationship, I'm all the way alpha. But when I trust a woman and call her my girl, then I let beta in because I trust her to take care of the fact that I'm no punk. You know my pedigree. And so now it's time to move into, okay, let me just relax. So I'll show you I'm a real man up front. And then when it's time, let me relax because don't take it for granted because I will jump back to alpha.
But you're going to make sure that you know her well enough
1,000%
to entrust her with that.
And now that is a process that has happened over time. I didn't start out like that. I started out. I've always been the big guy, but class teddy bear stuff like that. Never bully. But with women, it's always been, you know what? I gotta be extra sensitive. I gotta be Ralph Tresvant. I gotta be
a man with sensitivity.
I gotta
boom,
from the gate. And I didn't realize that. Wait a minute, the nice guy syndrome is real. So okay, I know how to be alpha. I didn't know how to express it without showing that I'm expressing it. You know what I'm saying? Without it being contrived. It wasn't natural. So somewhere, somehow, in the time of me growing up, I learned it. I went looking for some information, and I got some by accident, and I think I got a great balance now. Now, inside of a relationship, it was difficult because I do the alpha. Oh my God, he can save me, he can protect me, etc., etc.
A woman loves that.
Loves that.
A woman loves to, and let's just put it off.
Let's
put it out there.
Okay.
A woman
to a certain extent, they love.
A woman loves to feel safe. No, he's not going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead right now. A woman loves to. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care how strong a woman is. I don't care how strong a woman is.
Okay.
A woman always loves to feel, in her man, she wants to feel safe, secure, protected.
Okay.
She wants that security. She wants that stability.
Okay.
She longs for I don't want to be out with a man and anything pop off, and I'm wondering if I'm gonna have to put the boxing gloves on where the man is. It is physical, but the boundaries don't stop it. It doesn't stop at physical. When I say a woman wants to feel safe, secure, and stable, it doesn't stop at just the physical.
Right.
That's just one aspect of it.
Right.
We want to feel that way emotionally, mentally, spiritually. We want to feel like our man has us.
We got to do everything?
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, you don't have to do everything. We do it for each other.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's that balance.
Yeah.
It goes back to that.
I want to speak upon the security part. You know, I've been, I'm a trained fighter, boxer, martial arts person, trainer. The thing, some women, and I see this all the time, women go and start stuff, then call their man to protect them. And
really?
I was in an incident where this girl came to me, so-and-so did this. This guy tried to get this girl caught, this girl I was seeing back in the day. And I leave my house and run into the guy at the top of the hill. And I just lost it. I said, man, you try to jump in my girl's car? He's like, yeah. And he pushed me. When he pushed me, I blacked out. Not blacked out, but I hit him. He fell to his knees. I picked him up and slammed him. We're in the middle of the street on the North Decatur Road fighting. Okay. And I had a pocket knife and I put it to his throat. I was that close to cutting.
You had lost it.
I lost it, yeah.
Like that.
And I was like, you know what? I don't even know this guy from anything. It could be somebody she put out the car or something, you know?
Okay, well that's
But
a very immature
You didn't
woman
know
who
the
would do
both
that.
sides.
I didn't know the other side to the story.
Yeah.
You know,
And
but
it's a very immature woman who would put her man in harm's
Yeah,
way intentionally.
right. I see it all the time.
Mature women would never do that. I'm gonna put it out there. When I'm with my man, his safety is as important to me as my safety is. However, if anything does pop off, he needs to make sure that he is on the front lines of defense. He needs. But I'm not going to intentionally put him or myself in harm's way to prove a point. That to me is very immature.
Because you're grown.
And that is because I'm grown,
Right.
and you have a lot of immature women who are out there. But going back to the point that I made, and hey Reggie Hines, this
we got
guy
some old comments. I see
is
it.
extraordinary saxophonist, but I still don't feel like, and Keisha says that they've been together, the comments that I was reading before, she said that they have been together for 26 years and married for 10 years. Well, these guys are only in their 40s, early 40s.
Okay.
So like I said, they grew up together.
Yeah.
They've learned each other together. And it's a wonderful thing that you have that much longevity in your relationship. I think that's a beautiful thing. What I will say is this, though, I still don't really feel like my question has been answered. And you say it's a moving, what did you say?
Moves and balance.
Moves and balance.
It's-
I feel like that's a play on words. Like, what does that mean?
Because-
who has the
Well,
final say in a relationship?
There is no final say because a
There is
relationship.
final say.
Okay, so if we take it back, let's go back before social media, before cell phones. Let's go back to the beginning
Okay.
of when man got together with women. There was the caveman and there was the cave woman. And the cave woman,
It went way back.
and the caveman stayed. The caveman went out and braved and brought back the food and hunted and everything. And the woman stayed back and took care of the kids and raised the girls to do what they do and raised the boys to be cavemen.
Right.
Understood. So the woman is important in her own right. The man is important. It's a plug and an outlet to me. The say so, I can't. There's no way for me to be able to say indefinitely it's one or the other. Now, if you want to go by strength, man. If you want to go by emotion, woman. So now, but
You got to add logic to it. Man.
exactly. So with that being said, but the logic has to come within the actual scenario that's being spoken about. If we talk about money, there's a logic to that.
Yes.
If we talk about love, there's a logic to that.
Yes.
If we're talking about relationships in argument and debates, there's a logic to that. That's what I mean is moving. You can't do the same thing with every single thing.
Right.
With every
Gotcha.
single scenario. That's what I mean when I say it's a moving balance.
Because someone in a relationship, the woman may be is experiencing certain areas than men. So sometimes, like some things my wife bring up, I'm like, you know what, you got a point. Sometimes it's a moving balance, just like that.
Right.
I wasn't sure that I knew what a moving. Hey, Don, I love you so much. I wasn't sure that I knew what a moving balance meant. Because at the end of the day, there still has to be a final decision that's made.
Yeah.
And sometimes, what I've learned is to pick my battles in relationships.
Right.
I didn't always know that though, and I'm transparent enough in my walk today to say I didn't always know that. What was important for me 20 years ago is not important for me now. It was important for me 20 years ago just to get my way. And I'm going to tell you, it was just, I wanted my way. I was spoiled. It has nothing to do with AKA.
Yes.
Spoiled.
Yes, only professional pretty girls.
Oh my gosh.
Be a professional.
You're professional pretty girls.
Professional pretty
That's
girls.
a stereotype.
I'm sorry, but it's
It's
facts.
And we all are
Ski
pretty.
weed.
Yeah, I admit it. We all are pretty.
Yeah.
But we all look very different, and some fat, some skinny, some dark, some light, some
Professional pretty girls.
but they are all very pretty. As are all the
that's
women
a
of Delta Sigma Theta, as are all the
pretty
ones.
and dark.
All women.
Yeah, all women are beautiful.
Yeah.
Pretty and dark, pretty and
They
light.
are.
I get it, ski weed, and all that. I went to college too.
You know what?
But you're not going to just
See,
like
you never know it's just
You,
thing.
you were stereotyping, but
I went to
anyway.
college too.
Okay, well, and there you have it. Gerald has spoken. Look at this. She's
Someone
just
said,
looking at-
Miss Love
so
said,
much.
Gerald sound like he's controlling.
Who said that?
And I
Miss
saw
Love,
that.
Miss Love.
Gerald sounds controlling to let her know you're alpha, and then when you trust her, you relax until you feel she needs the alpha again. If you feel some type of way, no, Keisha, we're gonna have issues here because what I said is if I'm with you, Keisha, and I want to let you know that I do have a soft side because men are too strong, men are too this, men are too that. I am me myself. We're talking about me. When I approach or am with a woman in the beginning, I've heard all my life. You seem like somebody, if I was walking in the alley, I would have ran the other way, et cetera, et cetera. So I have that.
Who says that?
People have said that to me all my life.
Because you're so
I'm
big
Yeah,
and
exactly.
stature.
I'm actually small now compared to what I was. I'm 250 now. I was 290 in high school. So I'm actually smaller than that, smaller than that.
He's
so,
a big, burly, athletic
Right.
type.
Right.
Let's
So,
make sure we're clear on
really
that.
me
big
hearing
teddy bear.
that all my
A big
life,
teddy bear, really.
me hearing that all my life caused me to approach people a certain way.
Yeah.
So now, women, not people, women, because men I approach, the way I approach. Ain't no sugar in my tank. But women, if I'm attracted, I know if I'm attracted to that and I have the gumption to go approach, I wouldn't approach any type of way. Especially because I know from the perception of people that have told me that I wasn't trying to get with, even guys and ex-football coaches. Oh, you could have went bear hunting with a switch. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing these things and I'm like, oh, people look at me and think that I'm going to jump on them on sight for no reason. So it caused me to subliminally just soften up when I meet. Now, I've had women tell me in the past, big as you are, they don't say soft, but they're saying synonyms that make me feel like I'm soft. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. If I'm too hard, I'm a problem. I'm too soft, I'm a problem. So let me just go ahead and be me. Now,
Just be you.
Just be
That's
you.
it.
but I didn't know how to be
Keeping
me
it real.
either, because remember, I'm the same kid that's father just left. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have a what's it called,
That's the
example.
Example.
Or whatever.
Gotcha.
So I didn't know how to be me in that realm.
Wow.
So I had to figure it out myself, aka like a caveman or whatever. I had to figure it
That's
out through
deep,
other
Gerald.
people. Now
Yeah.
I figured it out. I'm comfortable with it now. I'm still learning, but I'm pretty much figured out. But at the end of the day, when you have someone that is coming, let's go back to Keisha. You have someone that's coming at you and you think that I'm big and I'm too big to handle and so on and so forth. I show you that I have it on tap, but I can come down off of it, and I'd rather be the nice guy and trust you with knowing that this is nice, but don't test him.
Have
Yes.
you been
Oh,
hurt
my goodness.
before?
Yes,
Have you been
yes.
hurt?
Check.
Let's just talk about it.
Who you talking me?
Yeah, have
Who
you been
has
hurt
not?
before? Who has not been hurt?
Yeah.
Right.
Bingo, bam, boom. And that is the wonderful thing about transparency, is being able to say, you know what, regardless of the fact that I look, like a big mandingo, and that I'm a former athlete, and that I have it going on professionally. It's to me, it's big. That all of that is trumped by someone who can say, I've been hurt. That's real transparency, because you have no idea the number of men who look like you and say, oh no, I ain't never been hurt by a woman. A woman won't ever hurt me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have any insecurities, and there's nothing wrong with me. It is a lie, and I know that it's a lie.
I got my kudos from Keisha. Okay, I understand now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Okay, but Tiffany Dunn also says a woman loves when a man lets his actions show by his movement, and I absolutely agree with that. We want a man who. Here's my thing, and people always say to me, I've had a million men, if I've had one, approach me and say, you're unapproachable, or I feel like you're very intimidating. What does that mean?
I see it.
But what does that
It's
mean?
an energy. It's an energy. And I talk a lot.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I just
So
want to read the comment.
the energy of someone that's unapproachable is very. You're walking. You're a pretty woman. you look like you got your act together. You look like you don't need a man. You look strong. You look standing tall. And then you're walking and you have nothing in your energy that shows any type of leeway or distress. It's an energy. It's not a look. It's not a physical. It's not a visual look. It's an energy. Like I've walked into it. I'm immune to it now as a grown man. But growing up, if a woman looked too good, like any man in the room, she can get, in my mind, I think she can get any man in this room. It's almost like why would she want me? And do I look as good as? I'm starting to look at myself as, am I the best looking man in the room?
Yourself.
Now, I'm not saying that out loud, but I'm thinking that in my head.
Right.
So if I'm thinking about that based on seeing you in a room and I'm feeling you and I would like to get with you, I'm doing an inventory of everybody in the room first to make sure, well, that dude probably, he probably can get her.
He probably has.
Or she probably will go for him. And then the other side of it, because you look like you're not having a problem attracting men, it's almost an ego trip. Like, well, wait a minute, my stomach a little big. Maybe she probably like dudes with 6 packs. They start making excuses for themselves before they even blast off. So that don't have nothing to do with you. It has to do with that man. His insecurity.
And this one, like, man, if I get with her, I have to fight every night to prove my love. You know,
that's real, but that's punk.
Okay, so let me go ahead.
Some guys think
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, but let me go ahead and put this out there for all those men who may feel the way that you're feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that.
I don't agree with any woman who says, "Oh, I'm good. I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I don't need a man for." You know what? That is the biggest lie ever told.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, boo. You need a man. Let's be very clear on that.
Okay.
You need a man.
Because a plug goes in
Because there are just some things that we are not capable of doing for ourselves as women.
Amen.
So we all need that.
Batteries run out.
Yeah, absolutely. The batteries run out.
Okay, now,
So-
a comment came from Michelle about the original question that we talked about.
Go ahead and read that. I'm gonna go plug this in over here because I think our batteries.
She said, I think that it could work if both recognize their strengths and weakness with communication. He can be an alpha man and leader of the house if he doesn't have to diminish her strength to lead.
That's
from Michelle.
That's from Michelle.
Okay.
I didn't get part of what you.
Okay, so make sure that we're clear on that.
Read that one more time.
Michelle said that I think it could work if they both recognize their strengths and weaknesses. With communication, he can still be an alpha man and leader of the house if he doesn't have to diminish her strength. Diminish her strength to lead.
Yeah.
That's facts. That's facts. But I don't like the fact that she's putting it 100% on him because she has a role to play in that just the same. A balanced role in that as well because she can expect that, but what does she bring to the table to deserve that?
Well, she also agreed with you because she said, "I agree with Gerald. Example: if one is good with the finances, I'm just kind of rewinding back. If one is good with the finances, that person should have a final say.
Yeah.
Other person's strength is, say, the kids. They should have final say. So it really depends on the situation.
Right. Every situation, there's no cookie cutter to every single situation that you can use constantly. It just that's ridiculous actually.
Yeah.
But yeah. So kudos to you. Who was that?
That was Michelle.
Michelle, we good friends, Michelle. My best friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, it's all about compromising. Knowing when to go in, when to split.
Hey guys, sorry about this, but my battery was running low, and so I've got to make sure that we're able to continue this podcast. Yeah. So I'm going to have Gerald come over here and help me out with this podcast because what we don't want to do is lose momentum. Some really, really great comments that we're getting back, and we want to make sure that we're able to continue this podcast. So
please continue to share also.
Yeah.
Share.
Right now, while we're in this transition, share share.
Yeah, and then chime in, give us your all opinion as well, because that's what we need, feedback.
It's 26 years over here.
Yes.
Why is it still
27.
saying like that?
How many was in
Tally
one
up.
and what was in another?
I want to say 15 in the first one and 12 in the second.
It's saying low battery, but it is charging.
It is charging.
Yeah.
As long as it's
So-
charging.
Yeah.
What happened?
For the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, the first one was awesome.
So what I'm gonna need is some type of. Is there a book?
Okay.
But and I ended up several houses. We just together. You know how you know together, but I always kept going back.
Just
and
on
forth.
papers. Which
Yeah.
side?
And we kept getting back together, and then I kept leaving, getting back together and leaving. You know, we were two strong-minded people.
Okay.
Okay.
I was a Taurus. She was a Gemini.
Go sit back down.
So
Okay.
Two different people when you do with her.
yes, I didn't know who I would come home with. You know, but sometimes, like I said, she was a Taurus and Gemini. You never know who. I don't know. Sometimes I would just sit in the car. I get to the house and just sit in the car and be like, dang, well, who's on the other side of that door? Like,
See,
you know,
Keisha says, Tisa, I feel men that feel the way I feel men that feel that way need to level themselves up. Okay, so explain that to me. I'm not understanding what you're saying. Tisa, I feel men that feel that way need to level themselves up. Okay.
Which
oh,
man is she
I guess
talking
you're
about?
referring to men have, I guess, insecurities.
Right.
You know, we don't have insecurities. We try to look at things as realistic as possible. You know,
Oh, so Tiffany Dunn says, oh, so just because I'm focused means I'm unapproachable?
No, that doesn't mean that. And the unapproachable, that have nothing to do with your focus. It has to do with the man in question having an issue approaching. It has nothing to do with y'all. You as a woman, a beautiful woman, can't walk into, you walk the way you walk. You talk the way you talk. You move the way you move.
Right.
You don't move, your confidence doesn't come from men. Your confidence came from,
Gotcha.
your confidence came from upbringing. So when you walk in the room, that's not your problem. That's not a problem you can fix. That's what I'm trying to say. In a
Oh,
nutshell.
okay, that's
That's
good.
just an issue. That's
Okay.
like the sky's blue because it's blue.
Okay, good. And Keisha says they're intimidated of you're sure about yourself, in quotes.
They don't even know how sure you are about
Men
it. Just
seem
assuming
scared
it.
of that. I have a lot. But you know what? I will say this, and just let me put that out there. You know, I have insecurities just like everybody else.
Well,
And that's just me being completely transparent.
church.
Let me preach for a minute. Let me put this down and
Uh-huh.
preach for a minute. I have insecurities just like everybody else. There are women that I look at, and me personally, I can appreciate a fine woman. I love DJ Grady Baby. Scoot over towards Tammy a little bit so we can see it.
all right.
I can appreciate a fine woman every day of the week. I don't hate her swag. I appreciate it, and I still learn from it. I've always been a trendsetter. I've always done my own thing. But I can look at another woman and say, oh my gosh, she is beautiful. She is banging. Her butt is all that. Doesn't make me gay in any way. It makes me appreciative of my sisters. And so, you know, but a lot of times we have a tendency to compare ourselves
Understand
to
this.
them.
That same woman, I guarantee you, without being able to guarantee you, but I guarantee you, has her own insecurities about herself against probably you or other women.
Right.
So
You're
it's
probably right.
So no,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm right, and I don't mean to. I'm always right sometimes. But anyway, what I say is there is no person on this earth that's 100% secure. I mean, I know bodybuilders, I know male and female, and they're still working out. Like people look at me and be like, "Why are you at the gym every day? You finished." And I'm like,
Wow.
"Well, wait a minute. This is none of your damn business. I'm at the gym
Wow.
for me." So at the end of the day,
personal
at the end of the day,
reasons.
it's your own reason. It's not even you can call it personal, but it's really nobody else's business. But again, just move, just walk your walk. And the question that she had something to do with having an issue, or I don't know if you said it or you read it. Someone having a problem with being unapproachable by a man or whatever.
Unapproachable.
That's not your problem. Because here it is. If that man was to approach you, y'all wouldn't last anyway, because his reality would come to fruition, and he's weak.
Absolutely.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I probably would think that.
Yeah, so it's not a problem that you need to concern yourself with. And the other men, us men too. I've had women, oh my God, I thought you were this, that, and the third. And in my mind, I was like, well, if you would have said something, if I'd have known, we probably been married.
Probably been married by
Because
now.
I had a crush on you, but I thought that you were weird. You know what I'm saying? But it's everybody's different. So
Okay, and that's some really good feedback, and probably something that myself and many others need to hear. But I feel like we're sort of straying from the topic, which is strong versus strong. How does we're not going to get away from this topic, and we're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
When is it appropriate for a woman to put her foot down?
What
is a relationship?
What does put her foot down mean?
That means when is it appropriate for a woman to have the final say, and that be it in a relationship?
I always had a final say when it comes to the air conditioning, the heat on, you're cold, you're hot. If you don't like a certain channel, you
when
want
it
to
comes
change
to major decisions, when is it appropriate? Does a woman need to stay in her lane? That's the question I have for you men.
Define a woman's lane.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's what I want you guys to define. What I've always heard is a woman, and this may sound cliche, but
Okay.
let's admit it, we've all heard it.
Okay.
A woman
I got
needs
the answer
needs to stay in her place.
Okay. When it comes to maintenance on the car, unless you took have out of mechanics trade skill, when it comes to repairing things around the house, I don't want to say
expertise. Okay.
Certain expertise.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That is not what that term has been.
Well, you can't tell me how to get a car fixed.
Okay, but that's not what has been meant by that term over all the decades.
Give us a scenario.
When men are the only ones who usually say this.
Okay.
But when a man says a woman needs to stay in her place, what he is most specifically talking about is she needs to stay behind the man, and she needs to stay silent and allow the man to make the decisions of the house. And that is what is meant. When I hear a woman needs to stay in her place, to me, that is what I hear. Is that what you hear, Sorrel, or do you hear something different?
No, exactly that. You stay in that place, and that's my thing too. My question is, what is my place?
What is her place?
Prove it.
What is a woman's place?
Prove it. What's this thing?
What is prove what?
Because some women in the household really are the man in the household, as far as
Boom.
financial wise.
A lot of women are carrying in
that
the
way.
burden.
And
Yes.
you saying now you were going to say something about with the car. You can't tell me how to fix the car. Well, there are some women who know how to fix cars.
Yeah, there are.
And there are some women who know how to do the air conditioning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I said
So-
unless they have some kind of special skill.
Right, to
You
do
know,
it. But I'm saying who has expertise in what area? That's what I'm saying. You have to
Right.
have
That's
a
why I
balance.
use that word,
There has to
expertise.
have to you have to have a balance in
Yeah.
that.
So what do men mean, guys? And
Well,
that's why I have you guys
I don't
here.
talk like that.
But you might not talk like that, but
Let's see.
you have the wherewithal to know
Those-
where this comes from. What do men mean when they say a woman needs to stay in her
That
place?
comes from the I want to say it, and it's hurting me to say it.
Just say it.
The I can
Neanderthal.
days. Okay.
Back a long
Amen.
time ago.
Long time ago. See, like nowadays, men don't say that nowadays. That's something old.
Yeah,
Because
well,
back
skinny
then,
jeans then.
my grandfather had the time to say. My grandmother never worked. They
There
been
you
married since they
go.
were 60.
That's what I was going to say. The grandmother, in that instance,
Reverse
back in
roles.
the days down there, those people, the grandmothers never worked. So
Right.
that's why he was able to say, stay in your place,
Yeah.
because he was the head of the household in their respective.
Right.
He was the one working, bringing home everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Although her role was to take care of the house, and that is a job too now.
Yes.
You know, she
Oh, yes.
wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So he probably felt that was not her place to say something like that, which back then, you know, it was acceptable. But
Right.
can't nobody do that now.
No, that's now. And
Let me read this comment. Kathy Moore Charter says, these women claiming they don't need a man, doesn't have a man because of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Men only sex them.
Yeah.
Men need to be needed. Is that
Yes,
true?
yes.
Men,
What
do
do
you
you
all feel like you need to be needed,
mean-
or do you want an independent woman who you feel like doesn't need you?
Okay, so an independent woman is an oxymoron to a union because
It's an
independent
oxymoron.
to a union to two
To a
people
union,
because
okay, that's
independent
fine. You're an individual.
it's an independent individual and you with somebody. No, so I want me
Right.
personally. I want my woman to be strong when she's not with me. I want her to be soft when she's with me until I give her a reason to be strong.
Yes.
I'm strong all the time because she wants me to be strong.
Yes.
I understand the balance. I understand that there is outlets and there's plugs and they provide electricity for each other. One doesn't work without the other. One is a foundation and one roams a little bit, which is another conversation, but when you put it together you provide electricity. So that's my metaphor. If you take a woman is supposed to have a level of strength too. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Because a woman without and I'm gonna sound like I'm reaching for some numbers out here, whatever. But
Okay.
there is no human beings without women. It's where
Absolutely.
we all come from. So there's a level of strength in that, and God forbid a man ever had a fetus come out of his body, he'd probably faint. So I get it. So there's a balance in the natural design of the way everything has been designed from caveman to the you know today, in my opinion, today the feminization of women is what's messing us up. Because we got dudes
You
wearing
think feminists are messing us up?
feminization of men, excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
skinny
so-
jeans and
So what you're saying is homosexuality, basically.
I mean that's the extreme. I'm talking about straight men that are dressing like
As far as the
When-
visual of a man.
yeah, exactly. What a man is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The long hair and I get dreadlocks is one thing, whatever.
Wow.
But dudes pressing their hair and the skinny jeans and the wearing
Yeah.
of the pants low on the butts and all these different things are feminization. Well, that part is not really feminization of men. But there are things that could not demasculation.
Yeah.
Masculine.
When you see a man in the 80s and you see a man in 2020, it's two different men.
Yeah.
Right or wrong.
But
Visually.
styles do. Let's say this. Styles do change.
Yeah.
Right.
It does.
Masculine styles
Yes.
stay masculine, feminine styles stay feminine until men use feminine styles to express themselves.
Yeah.
Right or
Men-
wrong?
Okay,
Men
so-
today are more emotional, more verbally than women. Because mostly back in the day, you never seen two men argue. You know, they may
Yeah,
say
they
a
just
couple
fight.
words and it blows.
Mhm.
Now, you'll see women argue all day. Now the roles are reversed.
Okay, I want to make. Okay, hold
Oh
on.
my
I
God.
need to make sure that I'm understanding what you guys are saying.
Women have more testosterone than men.
Okay, so let me just and for the viewers as well. I want to make sure that we're all perfectly clear on where
Yes.
you're coming from. What you're saying is the breakdown in the relationships today. You feel is coming from
Role reversal.
role reversal, in that men are becoming more feminine, even if they are straight men,
God, I can't.
in an attempt to visually express themselves. So
It's not to do it to women. It's style, but it's starting to it's starting to rub up.
So with
and
the
blur
Dwayne
lines.
Wade, with the Dwayne Wade, who started wearing the skinny knickers
Yeah.
almost, and the rapper, I can't remember what the rapper's name is.
Lil Wayne?
The rapper who started dressing in dresses and all that
Young
stuff.
Thug.
Young Thug,
Thug. You say that has to do with the breakdown in the roles of a relationship.
because when you look at a man-
a woman can't look at a man who was wearing the dress and respect him as the man of the house.
Just put it like this. Once upon a time, there was Prince. Rest in peace.
Prince was able to pull it off. Let me just tell you this
But
right
he was
now.
an anomaly.
He was an anomaly because he was the only man who could wear some 6-inch pumps and makeup, eyeliner thicker than mine,
And play basketball and whip your butt.
and could still
Exactly.
get.
But
But could still get.
the point
Come on,
I'm trying to
let's
make.
just be real.
The point I'm
Let's
trying
be
to
real.
make.
I'm just saying what y'all want to say.
And you have
Come on,
that
Sandy.
point.
Can you get it?
Yeah.
100% you have that point.
Yeah.
But you go to school, you're in school and Prince was rocking. You was in high school or junior high school or elementary school, I don't know what.
Uh-huh.
And your boyfriend or the guy that you thought was your crush in school at the time that Prince was the man, was to come to school with a hair perm and pumps
Oh, it
and
would
all that
never
stuff.
work.
Exactly. Exactly.
never
So that's my
worked.
point.
Because
I'm
people
trying to
are
make.
more out now with that kind of stuff. See, back then it was like in a closet, like, ooh, you know, you kind of suspect that
Okay,
ain't
but
nobody
are we
admitting
saying?
that.
Are we trying to say that Prince? I mean, we're
I
not
used,
saying that
I
Prince
used,
was gay.
no, I'm saying Prince was
No.
an anomaly. No, I don't believe Prince was gay. I think he was.
I don't either.
think he was a
I
super
just think he was just
or whatever.
different.
He was that's why I call him.
Right, an anomaly.
But when you talk, if everybody, but when now, if Prince was out now, with and he was a rapper, everybody would have dude would have
everybody
pumps
had-
and a perm
yes.
and makeup and all that
Yes.
because it's okay now.
Yeah.
Because skinny jeans happened.
Yeah.
The first time I recognized it was when Lil Wayne was was
Star.
Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
He showed up on some award stage or whatever, and he had on the tightest pants. And I said it, I was like, you know what? All them little boys gonna be dressed like that. And sure enough,
Yep.
not even
They
one
made it
school
look cool.
semester later.
Okay, so I get that, but what does that have to do with the roles in a relationship?
Okay, I got you. It started back with women's lib. When women's lib, you know, when
Women's rights.
the rights, women had the right to
rights,
vote.
yeah.
And they started, and they become head of households.
Well, we became head of households because the men weren't
But
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the reason why, because the system, because the men was with the woman, but the woman need Medicaid for the family. So they say, okay, we'll give you Medicaid, we'll give you food stamp, we'll give you this, but the man can't be there. So that what
I see that.
that
They
what got
knocked
the man
us
out of the
down.
household.
Society has knocked us down
Yeah.
in that retrospective because in order for us to get something, we didn't need our men there
Right.
for us.
Right, you gotta
That's
To get the
what it was.
assistance,
Right.
to get the assistance,
Yeah.
and so that put the women in the mind state that they had to run everything because the man wasn't there. The man wasn't allowed to be there because if they found out the man was there, you get cut off your assistant.
Right, the men became
Okay, but let me
So-
play devil's advocate. If
Okay.
a man wants to be there, assistance or no assistance, he is going to be there.
Ready.
I mean, let's just face it.
But-
whether he's there undercover,
If you get free rent, free food,
regardless,
get you out of there.
if a man still wanted to be there,
Right.
and he would still be
And they
there.
still
Oh,
do.
yeah.
There is no law that is going to
Yeah.
keep a man who is passionate about his family and his woman
Yeah.
away from his
Yeah,
family.
he
and
will
his woman.
come. You ever see that movie Carlene? Yeah, he'll come there. in
That's
the
a
midnight
cop-out.
hour.
That is a
That is not a
cop-out.
cop-out.
That is a cop-out.
That-
It is a
that-
cop-out because if the man
that's-
wanted to be there, he would still
Yeah,
be
yeah,
there.
he will be there. But if the woman don't want him there, he won't be there. A man can be there, try to be at the door all night. Baby, I want to come back. No, I don't need you here. Come, I see it all
Okay,
the
so do
time.
you feel like women are just too strong-minded
Yes.
because of this?
Yes.
Because they've been institutionalized to feel that
Yes,
way?
they've been
Beyonce.
programmed.
I can't disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
Who runs the world, girls?
Yes.
Pay my bills, pay my
Uh-huh.
bills, pay my bills.
To the left, to the left.
Right. I can get another one to the left. Like the
Irreplaceable.
the feminization of men along with women's R&B, women's lyrics.
Okay, but why do you think those lyrics were even written? It was those lyrics were written
Those
out
women
of
were pissed off.
out of pain.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Out of pain.
So if a man hadn't put her in the position to even feel that way, trust and believe the lyrics would not have been written.
Understood, but the lyrics were written by one individual, and then
Was
people
written
who
by
like
Leo.
that, people who like that Beyonce song, they started looking for the bad in men for the most part, and having seances with their girlfriends.
I don't agree with that. I don't think that women
You
started-
don't.
You don't agree with
You
that.
I don't
don't.
think
But
that
that's
women-
very popular.
What do
I
you
don't
think,
think that
listeners?
women started looking for the bad in men. What I think is that women became aware. So
Okay.
when they had a bad man,
Women
when they had a bad man, they became more aware, and then they started taking more pride in who they were, and they started recognizing their own self-worth.
But bad men have been around
That's
since
what I
before
think.
Beyonce's
I have to say
parents were
this.
born.
Bad men and bad women have always
to
existed.
prove Gerald's points, when I was dating my wife, I would drive down to Brunswick, Georgia, where her family was, and her sister, her motto song was, "You must not know about me. You
You
must
must not know
You know
about
what I mean?
me. You must not
Then-
know about me.
And
Look
then,
how proud you sing that.
yeah, I love you in a minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute. So you'll have another man come over while I'm still here.
Right, that's the anthem.
Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute, and I'm still here. Or he's gonna get whipped in front of you. You know what I'm saying?
So were you
Now
scared
just
when
put
you
him-
heard that?
No, I'm not scared.
Okay, but let me break that down for you.
I'm
Because
irreplaceable.
Here's one thing that I know, and here's one thing that I stand firm on. I don't care how long this world exists. Men and women will never think alike.
Exactly.
It's not supposed to.
Yes.
Okay, they're not.
Yin and yang.
So when you say that song headstrong is disrespectful. Let me tell you what a woman is saying. No,
Okay.
what that's saying is a woman has already been disrespected. Yeah,
I understand that.
And that she's not taking it anymore.
I understand.
She's not trying to disrespect her man and saying, you must not know about me. She's not disrespecting. Hold on.
Warning him.
It's a warning.
She's warning him.
It is a warning to say, if you continue to do me the way you have done me in
To
the
the left.
past,
Go to the left.
you know what?
Your
I will
things
have
are packed to the
somebody
left.
Why
else
don't you make up her own
I understand.
song?
But the part of
Let's
the
be
song,
clear about that.
the part of the song that I have a problem with is she said, matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute.
That means you know
That
you
means-
cheat. That means you've cheated on
Yeah.
me, and now
But-
my options are open.
But what you're not gonna
And
do?
Jody's getting ready to come.
And when he comes, but see, he don't know he's walking into a butt whipping. Because he's gonna get all this frustration of you putting me out. And I promise you.
Just
No, it's wrong
Why
with
are you
your
gonna
part.
be frustrated?
Because
You caused it.
you just set this brother up. Now I'm mad,
But you
but I can't
caused
put
it.
my hands on you. So now this brother who's gonna take my place, oh, he about to get the business.
But you caused
why?
it.
I don't
You
know.
caused
No,
it.
you caused it. He would never got hurt. You should have told him to come by the next day. Don't have to come by in a
That
minute.
should have
Woo!
that's
Cause I'm hurt. I'm embarrassed.
But
Brady
no.
baby, you
Yeah.
wrong on
I'm
this.
sorry. I put them paws on them. Them skippity
Brady
paws.
baby.
He ain't got nothing to do with that.
I know, but
No, but
You wrong.
to his
I don't
point,
know.
but to his point, if a man and a woman is living and they have a dwelling, and you're telling that man that another man is coming to that dwelling, that's when the alpha comes out of me too.
yeah.
Okay, and I get that. I get that.
Don't care
I
what I'm
get
doing
the
on
territorial
it.
piece of
Better
that.
take that away.
Yeah. I understand the territorial piece. This is intense, people. We're having an intense moment. Intense. I get the territorial piece. I really do. However, let's go back to the root cause. And the root cause is that had you not done something to disrespect her in the first place, had you not cheated, whatever, we wouldn't even be at this point.
Leave.
Okay, she
Instead
is
of
going
singing
to
the
leave.
song.
But who said she has to leave?
She
Well,
gotta
sing
sing-
the song,
she
she
gotta
can
sing
sing
the
it.
song.
That's
But
her choice.
I mean, my thing is,
Okay.
she wouldn't be bringing another man if you sitting there right there. Now that's disrespectful. I'm just saying if she's singing
That's
the
a whole
song.
other show.
Now if y'all standing together
We in the house
and
together. You
she's
gonna put
saying
me
I
out?
have another man there in a minute, he on his way or whatever. You know what I'm
I
saying?
ain't going nowhere. I ain't going
I
nowhere.
think she just warning you, so you probably
Yeah.
need to
No,
go
that's
get
not
you
warning.
out.
To get you on your toes.
Just go ahead and bounce, because she probably already put you
no,
out, but you still there begging
the
because you got
decision
messed
is
up.
already-
Go ahead and bounce, boo.
The decision has already been made. She made a decision. To the left. That let me call you a cab. You know that part. Let me call you a cab. You know, standing in front, y'all yelling how I'm such a fool. You never find another man like
First
you.
of all, if she had to call you a cab, that means you don't have a car.
Okay.
That means so who depended on who?
Okay.
Oh, he gonna get a ride from them. And now, if I was in that situation, yeah, I'm gonna get a ride. Anyway, but he going home now.
I think you better call Tyrone.
No, someone please call me.
You better call Tyrone. Alicia Johnson says relationships should have a balance. And a man and a woman should know their place.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
If you have more knowledge, then you take the lead. If I have more knowledge or access to it via family, I can take the lead. And I agree, and that's what I said in the beginning.
Okay.
There are boundaries. You have to establish the boundaries and the
Yeah.
roles up front.
Same
If
thing.
those roles and those boundaries are not established up front, then it becomes chaotic when you are dealing with two strong-headed people.
Yeah.
I agree. Tiffany Dunn says, technically, Egyptian men wore garb that was tightly fitted.
Jesus Christ! But they didn't have
But
they
you
didn't
know
have
what?
leaves
Some
and dungarees back then.
But I'm saying, you
That's
know,
what they
she-
have.
Just telling you, that's where the dressing. I mean, you got
That's not
Scottish men who wear what, kilts?
if you
That's
go
a
back and look
formal
at Earth,
wear.
Wind, and Fire, see how tight their costumes were? And it showed their prints and everything. 'Cause I
Yeah,
looked at it, I was like,
Understood,
oh
but
my
that's
gosh.
like Prince. They
But
are
I don't know-
performers.
but
They're
I
not
don't-
everyday men.
But I don't know that has anything to do with the breakdown of the roles in the family.
Yes,
I don't think that.
the visuals do something to someone. If you see someone that is like me, and you see someone that is like my age and has skinny jeans on, you're gonna get two different energies from the same person, and you don't know if we grew up in the same household.
And
You know what I'm
everybody can't wear skinny jeans
Yeah.
anyway. So
And a lot of people that
slender
wear
built,
it, Right.
You know, but
A lot of people that's wearing it don't belong wearing them.
But you're missing the point because fat men wear skinny jeans.
Hell
too.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They don't
And
have
fat
no
women
right.
wear skinny jeans.
Right.
You can't tell a person how they can and
Yeah.
cannot
Yes,
dress.
you can.
No,
And
that's
if they make it in your
prerogative.
size, you have every right to wear it. It might not
No,
look
you just
Can I
violating.
ask-
Every
I
right
wanna
to
ask
wear
Jared
it.
this.
Yes, you do have every right to wear it, Jared.
But you're violating.
I want
You're
to ask Jared
violating
this.
what?
You're violating
You're
all the
fashion
laws
police.
of.
Okay, but a big
Never
woman,
right.
a big woman or a big man are they could be very, very comfortable in their skin. So who are you to
Shame
say
on
that
them.
they're
Go ahead.
shame on them? Why?
Real,
Wow.
what you saying?
Now, to me, real men can't wear skinny jeans.
It turns out real men.
Real men can't say
You growing up
because
together.
I got to maneuver around in case some stuff pop off. You know what I mean? Because I'm
Exactly.
always on security detail. You know,
Right,
just
right.
in case some stuff pop off. I can't
Wow.
be sagging. I can't have skinny jeans because I may have to reach down and I might get a yeast infection. You know what I'm saying?
I say that all the time.
I know. Yes, saying.
Men get yeast infections.
You might get
in their hearts. What I'm gonna say is this: when I had 2 ex-girlfriends ago, her son and mine were really, really close, and I said, you know what, the dude that's bothering you, what kind of pants he wear? You can take him if it's skinny jeans, because all you gotta do is hit him and see if he can move and keep up with you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So again, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I can tell you that if men did their roles like men are supposed to. Understand where skinny jeans come from. Skinny jeans come, I'm gonna say sagging comes from. You know where sagging comes from.
Penitentiary.
The penitentiary.
First, it
back.
comes from back in the day when our parents didn't have that much money and we wear pants and they were high waters. They would let a sag wear a long
It go back
t-shirt.
further
So,
than that.
Okay.
and then when they went to jail, they poured too. So most dudes in jail would sag, and then it became now it's sexy.
In jail, you wasn't allowed to wear belts because some people was committing suicide. They was hanging themselves in jail.
Okay,
so,
but in
But it
jail,
goes back
saggy
further than
pants
that.
are a sign in prison.
yeah,
Right.
that's a
That
sign.
you
I
are
want some boots.
Available.
Right.
Yeah, that
available.
you are available
Right.
and that you are biatch.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's what and I think if more young guys knew that,
Yeah.
you are available, and it means that your posterior
In the face.
is available
Yeah.
and free for entry. And
Yeah.
so I think that if most men knew that, because I'm the type of person, when I see a young man sagging, I don't care if I'm behind him in the grocery store, if he comes in my store, I want to say, pull your pants up.
He gonna look at you like
Yeah.
you crazy.
Of course he would. So
He'll look
I
at
don't
you like
say
you a
it,
square.
and I don't overstep my boundaries,
Yeah.
but it's very distracting
Yeah.
to me.
I don't even say nothing to the young Thundercats no more because if I say something to them, I have to kill them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes back
Because
further
I
than
want
that
you to
to sagging of that
Keisha's
stuff.
comment.
Yeah.
Hold on, I want
Keisha-
Gerald to read Keisha's comment.
Keisha, so this
Because
is
this is for you guys.
okay. So women/wives really are behind the scenes. When the kids get sick, it's the moms that are up with them. When husbands are preparing for work, events, etc., the women are the ones making sure he's dressed right, lunch is ready, even though she works too, well, meaning as well, house is kept, speech in pocket that she probably wrote for him when the women. What era is she living in? How is that equal for some women, Gerald and DJ? Okay, so that is a choice, and that's from Leave It to Beaver days. So we're not talking about today, because
Wow.
is Keisha saying
Well,
that
obviously,
she's like that?
Well, obviously, it's still going on.
I'm sure that, but that's not that's an anomaly today, like Prince was. You know what I'm saying? In my
You're
opinion,
saying
because
that's
how
an
many
exception
women?
and not the norm.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you two. Are you writing your man speeches if he's gonna speak and cooking everything and doing and letting him sleep when the kids are sick? Is that what y'all are
I'm
doing?
not that, but there are some women, and women need to be careful of this too. You met a man and he was a nerd, so I can fix him up. You fixing him up for somebody else. Cause see,
Wow.
you know, for real,
Yeah,
because
a
some,
monster.
but I'm saying,
That's the
like what
story
she
of my
said
life,
in
too.
that right there, She's saying that there are some people out here who are grooming their husbands who say,
For the
I can
next
fix up. Right, exactly.
Right.
Because what you liked him how he was, but you said, well, I can fix him up a little bit more. So it's another woman out there who's looking at, oh, he done really
Better take
changed.
him
I
how you
like
got
how
him.
he done. I'm going to try to
Yeah.
talk to him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Better
So
take
you
him
have to
how
All
be
she
careful.
did was
You have to
pimp
be
her
careful.
ride for somebody to come
And
steal
to
her.
piggyback on
Yes.
to piggyback on what my soror just said, this is a conversation I was having with another soror just a couple of days ago. You were absolutely right, and I'm going to tell you why you're right. You can have a man, and she was saying that, you know, another woman had told her, well, he's not up to your standards. And I said, my question to her was, what does she mean when she says he's not up to your standards? She was like, well, she felt like he didn't look good. And I said, ho. Let me interrupt. Let me interject. My opinion, since you're asking me, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Had you not asked me, I wouldn't interject. But my opinion is this. I don't care anymore what a man looks like in society's standards. Not important to me like it was back in the day.
Okay.
I care more about how a man makes me feel, how he treats me,
Okay.
how he loves me, how he makes me feel about myself. I care more about that because you can take a man that society says is ugly, nerdy, fat, whatever, and because you're dating him now, he is now attractive to the masses. Other women want him now because you have him. Because what they think is, okay, Tisa's dating him. He must be really, either he packing or he bringing something to the table or he must be treating her like a queen. Other men become attractive to women because of the women that they're with. So I agree with you when you say that. You know, be careful of grooming a man and making him just what you want him to be for you, because he ain't gonna be just what you want him to be for you. He's gonna be what you want him to be for the masses.
Community property.
Accept a person for who they are today. Be comfortable with the person and everything that encompasses that person today.
Yes.
Don't look at what their potential is. I can make him this. I can make it. Child, make yourself great. Because if you can't accept a person for who they are today, if you can't love them and respect them for who they are today, then walk away.
I'm so proud of you.
Walk away.
Okay.
I've always said that. I teach my daughters that. Absolutely. Walk away.
Walk away. That's
And that's
right.
the same for men. Don't look at a woman for what her potential is. Look at her and make the decision, okay, if she doesn't get any better, if she doesn't grow anymore, if she's swinging on a pole today, don't think you can turn her into, you know, the businesswoman extraordinaire. If you can't accept her at 70 swinging from the pole, walk away.
Yeah.
Because there is no guarantee
She's not gonna love
that
my
people
people.
will ever get better.
Don't smash
There
it
is
down.
no guarantee that people will ever evolve.
Right.
So if you can't accept a person for who they are and how they are today, get rid of all your illusions of grandeur that they are going to change for you, because boo-boo, that ain't going to happen. And if it does, it's not going to be necessarily for you. It's going to be divinely inspired.
Yeah.
So if you can't accept a person for who they are right now, just like I tell my daughters, walk away. Run as fast as you can in the opposite direction, because you're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing them a disservice.
Generally, I fully
Yeah.
agree, but there is a discrepancy in the sense that if you're having a conversation and that person isn't who you want them to be right then and there, but you have a conversation that you didn't egg them on and tell them what you didn't become a Mr. Me or Mrs. Me too, and their aspiration is in line as to where you would like to see them without you helping them or giving them the idea that that's what they want to hear, then that might be another catalyst to be patient. Because now I'm not talking about marriage, I'm talking about dating. Because dating, you graduate to commitment, and graduate to fiance, and so I'm in the dating in the courtship stages. Calm down a little bit. If you meet someone and he's not who you want to be, or she's not who you want to be right then and there, give it some time.
Accept them. Accept them.
But accept them in that realm.
No. And I'm gonna have to agree to disagree. And I've learned this for many years in trial and error. You don't date a person with hopes that they can become better or that they can become who you know they should be or could be.
Yeah.
No, I
You
agree.
date it, right.
I
So
agree
you
with
date a person based on who they are this day. There are never any guarantees that that person, and I don't care how young or old they are, because let's face it, age does not equate to maturity. So some people who are young in age never really grow up.
Right.
So you can't look at a person in your 20s, 30s, or whatever and say, you know what, she has ambition, or he has ambition. I know one day he's gonna be this.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Let me finish. Because you interrupted me, bro.
You said that. Oh, my
So,
bad.
man,
Alpha.
What you can't do, what you can't
Let us
do
speak.
is have false expectations that they're ever going to be any more than the person they are when you meet them.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I have made many mistakes. And that is where people in general make mistakes. We see someone and we feel like they have potential, and we also feel like we can fix them.
Right.
Like whatever their
Shame on
imperfections
you.
are, we can fix them. If you can't, and I tell my daughters this all the time, and they can attest to it, if you can't accept that person just as they are today, just like they are today, with all their imperfections, with all their flaws, with all their insecurities, if you can't see yourself with this person waking up 30 years, 40 years from now and saying, this person has never changed, but I still like them and I love them, then you need to walk away.
Understood. I
because
fully agree with what you're
because
saying.
you're
We're not
doing both
disagreeing.
of you guys.
We're not disagreeing. But
Yeah.
let me do the devil's advocate, like, because you keep on saying this devil's advocate thing that you.
No, I said it once. I didn't.
You said it about 3 times, but it's okay. But have you ever, beautiful woman, you've been, I'm sure guys want to get with you and so on and so forth. You said just one. Just give me at least one. And tell me if I'm wrong, if it's never
Okay,
happened.
I'm open to listening.
Dude said to you, I want to get with you, etc., etc. And you looked at him and,
Yes.
And then time passed. And then you saw him 10 years, 5 years, 15 years later, 20 years later, and damn, he did all right for himself. I would have got with him if I would have known.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
so never say never, never say always. That's the point I'm trying to make. Now, your energy at the moment should guide you what you're doing at that moment. I'm not telling you to try everybody just in case they win the lottery next week, and I'm not telling you that. So I'm not going against what you're saying, but I'm just saying you're giving a dissertation that's very definite. It sounds definite the way you're saying it.
It is definite. It's meant to sound that way.
But there
It's not,
has been
it's not an accident.
okay, but there has been things that would make people, I should have listened to my.
Okay, it's all, and I'm not saying that a person won't evolve. 9 times out of 10, they will. 9 times out of 10, if you give a person, I don't know the accurate statistics, but let's say 5 times. Let's even say 5 times out of 10.
10 times out of 9.
A person might change. They might grow. They may evolve. They may do all that.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is it's unrealistic. And it's really not conducive to a healthy relationship if you expect that.
Oh yeah.
Don't
No, I
expect
agree.
any
I
more
agree.
than you're getting right now.
I agree.
Don't
I
expect any more than you see today, because that's not fair to that other person.
Right.
Everybody wants to be accepted and loved and appreciated for who they are right now.
Right.
I don't want to feel like I'm in a relationship and I'm pressured to evolve or change or grow.
Right.
I want to be in a relationship with somebody who says, you know what, Tisa, I like you. I really do like you. And if you don't ever change, if you don't ever grow, I'm going to like you 70 years from now. I will always like you. Everybody deserves that.
Somebody said that to you before?
And you can
Oh,
go together.
I've absolutely heard that. But on the flip side, I will say this. Many times, and I'm the wrong person to ask that, there have been many times, because, my friends have always criticized me of being way too picky. So I've let many good men slide to the wayside because I've been very, very particular and very, very picky. And then I've seen them several years later and I've been like,
Oh, so it's happening to you.
oh, absolutely, it's
Okay,
happened.
okay.
And I will be the first one to admit it. I'm not too big to acknowledge
So how
that.
do you remedy? What's your remedy?
There is no remedy.
So you just gotta stick to your guns.
Sometimes you just have to chalk it up as a loss.
That's the decision thing I was talking about.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, it's good if a man will say, well, yeah, I forgive you for dissing me. Sometimes men don't do that.
You step to the left,
Yeah.
to the left, to the left.
To the left, yeah.
You to the left, to the left.
Okay, so
It
sometimes
depends.
it's just a matter of timing, though.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah.
100%.
Because that same person that you didn't like back then, later on now has changed, and then y'all may get together.
Absolutely, it's all about timing.
Yeah,
I
but
feel like
with that
everything
man, once
happens when
after
it's
you don't
supposed
listen,
to.
you know, after you don't turn
But
it
it wasn't
down.
really a diss. It was just that person hadn't grown to the level where the other person was at.
Yeah.
They
So
go at
if-
different speeds.
Right.
And it could be just a matter of time.
That's
If you're
it.
emotionally
And vice
connected,
versa. She
yeah, if
married
you're
where he
emotionally
was.
connected or involved with another person, and even if you and that other person have broken up, okay, but you're still emotionally tied to that person, like you're not really ready to invite someone else into your world, then it could be then what women have a tendency to do, and I can't speak for men, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I can speak for women. What women have a tendency to do, if we're still emotionally tied to a person, even if we're not still with them, then everybody that comes along, we sort of have a tendency to compare.
Standards, yeah.
Yeah, and so that doesn't always work out in our benefit.
It doesn't work.
So
I was moving.
so it's a timing issue. So a good man could come along, but he comes along at the wrong time,
Yeah.
because you're not emotionally available to him. And so that has happened to me many times in the past. There's never been a shortage of good men who have approached me in the past. So I can't say that has been my issue, but the timing hasn't always been right. And if I am not emotionally free to give myself to you 100%, I'm not going to embark upon that territory at all.
And you're the
We
majority.
can go out, we can date, we can laugh and have a good time, but I can't give myself to you unless I'm emotionally connected. So a lot of times the relationship just has a tendency to dissipate. I have a tendency to just make myself scarce. But then when you're emotionally healed and when you're ready, if that situation presents itself again, then you're in a better position. So it's up to the man to say, okay, you hurt me, but I'm going to give this another try because I believe in you, or to say, you know what, I'm just going to walk away.
Yeah.
Well,
Most women don't walk away like that. They need closure. Go ahead, but
Women need closure.
Yeah, but I know we kind of digressed a little bit from the show, but I want to get back to the part.
strong.
We
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
digressing.
Yeah.
It's wearing the
We ain't
pants.
never gonna
Who was
finish
head of
that.
household?
Who was head of household? Who
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so we've had this conversation, and I don't know at this point that we will
Ever.
arrive.
Never.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be building on this because this is an age-old
Yeah.
question.
I think that we can surmise this conversation by saying, and then I do want to read some of the comments, but I think that it's safe to say that, sometimes in a healthy relationship, I don't believe in a man and a woman walking behind a man. I do fully believe in a woman being his biggest cheerleader and walking by his side.
Right.
I am going to walk side by side, if you let me. I am going to be your biggest cheerleader and advocate. But I will not lose my voice in trying to love you and in trying to be with a man. And I think that that's where some women sort of miss the mark. That we take the Bible and our ancestors and our parents and grandparents and great-great-grandparents, we misconstrue so much what they're trying to say that until we think that the only way to be a good wife or a good significant other is to completely and totally submit to what the man says 100% of the time. And what happens when you do that, women, is that you lose your voice in the relationship. I strongly believe in now, I won't say that I've always had this mindset, but you live and you learn. I strongly believe in picking my battles, and if I can give leeway to the man and allow him to make the final decision and still sleep well and rest well at night, then I will do that 100% of the time. But if I am passionate about something, and if it is something that is burning in my soul, and I know that I know that this is the direction that we should take, I'm going to fight you on it. And I would encourage, because anything less than that, women, you are going to lose your voice and you are going to lose yourself in trying to love a man. I don't think that that's the way things were intended to be. We are the helpmeet of a man. You know, God took us from the rib of a man, and that rib is on his side. It ain't in his back. He didn't take us from the spine. He took us from the rib, and that's my own analogy. So I am here to be by your side. I am your ride or die chick. I will be there for you come what may. But you will not leave me in the shadows and leave me voiceless in my efforts to be with you. That is my personal opinion. And I will ask that everybody else on the panel tonight leave you with their take on the relationship piece. Can two strong-minded people actually make a relationship work? My synopsis, my opinion is yes. But you got to know your boundaries and you have to establish the roles up front. Everybody in a relationship has strengths and everybody has weaknesses. You have to be able to identify that in each other. And you play off and you leverage the strengths and weaknesses of each other. That's how you build each other up, and that's how you become a strong power couple, whether you got 50 cents or $50 million. That is my take. What do you say to that, Gerald?
The Titanic. Okay, so now, what I say is women and children first. Physical, no. There is strength. Physical, men are supposed to be stronger than women.
And are.
Emotional, women should be more inept with emotion than men. It's the way that, it's the design. Way before society and so on and so forth. So now, the reason why I said Titanic, the ship's going down. Women and children first. The room is burning. Get the women and children. My fire is hot on my back too. It hurts. But the women and the children got to go first before the men. So society is bringing the strength onto the men first, and we accept it. From organically, we accept it or whatever. So now, we're talking about something that has to do with scenarios, because you can say this, you can say what you're saying, and yes, I agree that strong can live, but certain scenarios dictate where strength needs to be with him, side with him, and strength needs to be with him. I 100% agree. But in general, it's supposed to be, not that it has to be, our natural matrix makes it so that men are supposed to quote unquote be physically stronger than men, and actually emotionally stronger than women, because we're supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? And the women, it's okay for women to cry. It's okay for kids to cry. Society doesn't but in my household, I would like to have an equal balance, like you're saying. So that's my take on it.
Okay, very good. Tammy?
Yeah, mine, as I stated from the very beginning, it can be equally balanced. To me, that's what works in ours across the board. Like I said, I do have my husband's back, and I feel that as though he has mine as well, because we all need to have that sense of security coming from that person. Whether it has nothing to do with he makes more money than me or I make more money than her. At the end of the day, if we can just have that same equal, because you all saying in the beginning, you said it, Tisa, and Gerald said it in regard to defining the roles. But sometimes when you're dating, the roles are not always defined. You would have to get into a situation for it to present itself in order to know what role it has to take in that perspective. So something like that, it's a growing basis. You will grow with that person. You'll see where their weaknesses are and where their strengths are. And we in turn can help each other and play off each other in that, sense. So in that particular instance, we definitely have to have that balance, no matter what, all the way across the board.
Very good. Very good. DJ Grady Baby.
All right. You kind of took all my answers. But it is about, I think they can, yes, two headstrong people can live together. but you have to know your partner. You know, you have to be able to compromise, communicate. And like I always said in past shows, you have to be able to listen without being offended and to speak without offending. So the thing is,
Very good.
It's based on
That's
communication and you guys working together as a team. You know.
Very good.
And
That's very deep. And to, you know, all of you guys have added something really. I mean, you guys are really smart. Like, you guys like rock. You guys rock. I will say this to piggyback off what Tammy said. Women, stop worrying about if you were with a man and you make $75,000, $80,000 a year, and he brings $45,000 to the table. Stop thinking that you wear the pants because you make the most money. Start thinking collectively what you guys can do together.
Yes.
Okay?
Together we are powerful. You know.
Together we are powerful.
Yes.
And so later with that, put that to bed. You can't take that $85,000 to bed with you every night, okay? So start thinking on a broader scale of what you guys can do together. Now, if money is really all that matters to you, and if that is what is your motivating force, if that's what drives you, you know, good luck.
Yeah.
All I can say is good luck.
If you think
But if
I'm sorry.
But you will be surprised and amazed at what you can do together with a combined income as opposed to just one. I'm preaching from personal experience. I've gone from combined income to one income. So stop thinking that just because you make more money than the man that you have to have the final say. Not the case, boo-boos. That will get you lonely. That will leave you lonely and by yourself, growing old by yourself every day because men have too many options.
Preach.
Yeah. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm just, you know, no pressure, just dialogue.
You need an R&B song.
I need an R&B
Yeah.
song.
With them lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay. I need an R&B song. Maybe we should write one.
Men are the prize, okay?
Okay, so I think that this has been a great podcast. I want to read a few comments,
Okay.
And then we're going to go ahead and close this out. Hey, my auntie Sheila Douglas says, preach, baby. Alicia Johnson says, I agree, people don't really change, and when they do, it's because of life-altering events. Absolutely. Bridget Bacon says, you're preaching to the choir. Let me see. Tiffany Dunn says, that is when the men say, when are we selective about our choice in men at the moment? And see, some of these comments are from way back in the podcast, so it's a little difficult to see what, you know, they're talking about. Rebecca Womack, hey Rebecca, how are you doing, boo-boo? She says, we are partners. We both have to make major decisions in the house. Absolutely. Agree with that 100%. Keisha says, my husband and I are living witnesses that two strong-headed individuals can make it work. And I completely agree with you. I absolutely believe that two strong-headed people can. Now, I will say this, it ain't going to come without its bumps and bruises. Let's just be real. But if you're both mature enough to handle the union, absolutely, it can work every time. Are we clear on that?
Yeah, Michelle and Barack had fights before.
Michelle and Barack.
They're a beautiful couple.
Absolutely. Michelle, put the microphone.
Oh, Michelle and Barack had fights before. Just because they look like the Cosbys don't mean that every day is peaches
Absolutely.
and cream. So yeah, it's just part of
Absolutely.
part of the ride.
Oh my gosh, this has been an awesome podcast. What time is it? It is 8:15. We started this, 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
So this has technically been the longest podcast that we've done, and I knew that it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew that it would be. But we're gonna have to go ahead and bring this to a close. I thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I thank you for your comments. Each one of them are meaningful, and I will try to respond. Me and the rest of the guys here today. We'll try to respond to each and every one of your comments because you are relevant and because you matter. Thank you so much for tuning in and just being a part of, this podcast. Keisha says this was good, y'all. And it was good. I end my podcast by saying that I firmly believe the only way to healing, and people are hurting all over the world. People are hurting, but I feel like the only way to start the healing is through communication, through dialogue, intellectual dialogue. And that's what we do here on the Tisa Batey Show. So I thank each of my panel guests today. My soror, Tammy Smith. Yes.
Chalkboard.
J15 is coming up. January 15th, Founders Day for
right.
Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So me and my line sister, always good to have not only my line sister, but my friend and my sister here with me today. Thank you, Tammy, for coming.
You welcome.
He talking about too much estrogen. I might need him to have 5 or 6 6. How about that? And I'm also glad to have the crazy man. And he was actually pretty contained today, I must say. I'm a little surprised and proud of him.
I wonder, where's my haters? That's what I want to see. Who the haters?
You didn't give him nothing to hate on today.
Okay.
You were actually pretty contained today. So I'm actually pretty proud of you.
I didn't know. I came here to start trouble.
But you didn't. I think the women actually fell in love with you today, as opposed to past podcasts when they
We
loved
to get back on track, right?
Yeah, he's been the one.
This wasn't juicy like the other ones were.
I can't tell by the comments.
But hey,
I think it
no, I'm
was.
saying juicy as far as like because if we was talking about what we was talking about before.
We were talking about the former side chick.
The
former
side chick, and the side chick was here. What?
Yeah.
Imagine this was a side chick. And what?
But you can't do that to a reformed side chick. Come on. Now.
Yeah,
If somebody is reformed,
Listen,
if God can forgive them, who are you?
Listen,
Come on, somebody.
the person she's sitting next to,
Huh?
the person she decided to sit next to and talk about it.
Anyhow.
Not you. I'm talking about the lady.
Anyhow,
I'm
glad.
You know what we talking about?
Anyway, yes, she does know who we're talking about, and she is a wonderful and phenomenal
She said, tell
woman.
Gerald, he grew on
yes.
me. He's my boy.
That's her, Keisha.
Yes.
That's that side chick.
That's what she just
Hey,
said.
Keisha.
No, that wasn't the side chick.
Oh, okay.
It was another soror.
Keisha, I love you too, Keisha. Wherever you
Yeah,
are.
but the reformed side chick is a phenomenal.
Oh, no,
Phenomenal.
I believe she's phenomenal
woman. And a
today.
good friend of mine. Absolutely today.
When she was a child,
But
she
you
was
can't
phenomenal.
judge her for what she did in
I
her
wasn't
past.
judging,
No
I'm
more
just
than she
speaking
can
facts.
judge you for what you did in your past.
100%, but I've been perfect.
One thing we all right, we
I'm
get
just
ready to
playing.
shut this podcast down.
Shut it down.
Don't ever judge nobody
I don't judge.
because their sins look different from your sins. Because at the end of the day, we have all sinned and come short of His glory. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus, for deliverance. Thank you for deliverance. But we are happy to have my boo Gerald Forte here. Guys, if you need him for anything from pictures to video to anything concerning media, this is the dude right here in Atlanta. So thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you, Gerald. And as always, my sidekick.
Yeah.
That's just that Grady, baby. That's just that Grady, baby. We love our DJ Grady, baby. They love you, DJ Grady, baby.
I was on my best behavior.
You were
I
on your
was,
best behavior today. I don't think you pissed anybody off
And
today.
then he talked about that car, right?
Y'all made me have a flashback right here.
I
I had to pull myself back in.
Oh my gosh.
I had to pull myself back in.
Trouble at the house.
But this was a good podcast, and we could not have done it without you, our viewers. So thank you so much for tuning in. And if you missed this podcast, we ask you to share it. First of all, share it with everybody that you know.
Yeah.
And if you missed the podcast, if anybody missed the podcast, you can actually see it on djgradybaby.com.
Yes.
And not only can you see this podcast, but all our past podcasts. And we love doing this. We love talking about relevant and important issues that are painful, but that are impactful and meaningful. This is the only way that we start the healing process, through intellectual dialogue. So Thank you so much for being here. This has been a wonderful podcast. We love you. You're meaningful. You're relevant to us. Join us next week. Don't know if we'll do it on the Tuesday or Wednesday. Not really sure, but we'll decide. And as you know, I do not do things formally, so I don't know what the topic will be. But you will know next week. So tune in and join us. Thank you so much for your comments, and we love you one and all. Bye. Everybody say bye.
Bye.